And hello everyone and welcome here for the Roundup EX on the Reversal channel. Yes, Smasher has taken the Reversal channel because of l'Odyssée, the invitational that happened in Paris just this weekend. So I'm Fauster and I'm joined with some gently person around me, TPK, TK and EE, all Smashcaster that were here at l'Odyssée. TPK, how is it going?
Yeah, fine. Got some time to rest. Well, not enough, obviously, but yeah, doing fine. Kind of feeling lonely and kind of depressed now that the event is over. You know, it's the usual shit. Once the event's done, you're like, well, what am I gonna do with my life? So yeah, doing fine.
Yeah, that was a hard day afterwards.
Yeah.
EE, what's up? Doing good?
I'd say I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm remote right now, but I'm just catching up on a lot of stuff. Since I was in Paris, it was an awesome trip, honestly. The jet lag did kick my ass for a couple of days, I'm not gonna lie, but I ended up settling into it and just having a great time, man. So happy to be here to chat about it.
Let's go. Thank you for being here. And Breezy, I mean, you already used to the channel on the show. Second time already here. What's up? Doing good?
Yeah. I just, same. I don't really feel like jet lag affected me as much because I took like a 2-minute nap or maybe like an hour nap before we went to go to dinner the first day, and then somehow that let me go to sleep at a regular time. So, but yeah, France was great. The event was great, and we got to go see the Eiffel Tower, and we went shopping a little bit. It was a good time.
Right.
That's cool, actually. I've heard also, EE, you had the chance to try some snails, I heard. Some French specialties.
Me and Mute, this is night one, the dinner which TK was talking about. We were debating like, okay, we're in Paris, how often we're going to be in Paris. Whenever you go to the city, you want to try their local cuisine. Obviously, escargot snails is a big topic of discussion. So we said, you know what, screw it. We're going to have some. One of the girls ordered it, and she passed us down. And we tried it, and it was actually really good. Like, to me, I thought the texture was going to be slimy, but it was just like, it was a little chewy, and it was just garlic and buttery. And they just prepared it right. There was no shell on it, which I appreciated. And I just thought it was a home run. I think I ate like 6 of them. I think they were actually really good.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like little shrimps, basically. And yeah, no, big shouts to Vexany because she was the one who got it. And then she was like, oh, if you guys want some, you can try it. So we all tried it, and yeah, it was good.
I mean, Vexany is a globetrotter. Like, she traveled all around the world. I feel like she have tried nearly everything. Obviously, the chat, we're watching you, we're reading you. If there is any problem regarding the sound or anything, or if you have any question, please feel free to ask. As you can see, so the summary on the side. We're gonna first talk obviously about l'Odyssée. It's mainly that show will be mostly dedicated toward that invitational that happened so this weekend with 16 of the some of the best players of around the world fighting in a great venue. We're gonna talk about the competition, obviously, after we talked about the experience that it was, and we're gonna talk after about the format of the tournament, like it was in round robin, for instance. And I know for a fact that a lot of people are not really happy with that format, so we're gonna talk a bit about it. And then we're gonna talk about the next Smash Invitational happening this weekend. That will be the Ludwig Smash Invitational. Alright, so first and foremost, guys, obviously we're gonna talk about your very own experience. I'm gonna starting with you, EE. I think that was your first time in France. Was it your first time in Europe as a whole?
No, I actually 2 months ago I actually went to Denmark, which was a really cool experience as well. But it's interesting how like different they the cities are. I felt like in France, like I'm a bit of a loud talker, and I felt like everybody was like pretty quiet and like reserved to an extent outside of like probably like the nightlife. And then you guys like really just have like a lack of good fast food, right? Like I had a McDonald's experience. It was pretty mid the first time. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I didn't order correctly. And then the second time I went to the one by my hotel was a little bit better. But the best meal I had and this isn't counting the S card go. To me, was your Five Guys, bro. Your Five Guys was slapping, okay? And maybe I'm just a fat American, but to me, that was just my go-to. It was so delicious. Now, don't get it twisted. I enjoyed. Now, the breakfast for the hotel was immaculate because you guys do pastries and croissants better than anybody. Like, that was absurdly good. Every morning I woke up for that breakfast. But I'd say I definitely enjoyed my first time there. I thought the architecture was really beautiful, like that area me, TK, and Vicky went to. They had like the Eiffel Tower and like where the river cruises are and stuff was breathtaking. I took a lot of pictures of those. And then even like the structure of like your mall was really nice too. I kind of liked how it was set up. So there was a lot of good takeaways, things that I really enjoyed about Paris. And the people, I heard French people are rude, but I thought everybody was pretty nice who I encountered. So I don't have a negative thing to say there.
That's good. You were lucky on that. And aside of the tourist part, so about the event, so how was it? Because so as you said, you went to Europe, but this time, so for that specific invitational in France, how was the experience working in that kind of venue, like that round venue, with the first day being completely empty and the second day with all the people inside? How was it?
So I thought both days were great. Obviously, when we were able to actually have like the crowd, that was just took it to another level, right? But you could just kind of tell like what they were planning and how it was going to shape up, especially with how lively the crowd ended up being. Oh man, it was just an amazing experience. I think TK said it, top one event he's got the cast, and I've come around to that as well. Like that atmosphere and that production was just next level. The only thing I will say I did not enjoy about the event was media day. And here's my reason why. I wanted to use the entirety of that day, that Friday, because Thursday we traveled in, we're jet lagged, we're recovering. I wanted to use that whole Friday to go explore. I didn't get to do everything I wanted to see. I want to see the Louvre. I want to check out the catacombs. I want to shop more. I didn't really get a chance to do that. The only thing I would say is next time media day should either like be in waves, like so like the people who are there are like only there for like an hour to an hour and a half, so they can actually enjoy the Paris. And then because essentially, if you think about it, like that Friday was the only day we had, right? Because Saturday and Sunday we're working, which is perfectly fine. I enjoyed myself. But that would be my only critique is like, we got to do something about media day because I felt like I ate up like 5 or 6 hours. And I was just like, no, my time in Paris, I'm losing it. But the event itself was godlike.
At least thanks to Media Day, we have the pronostics from all the casters, and you were one of the two, I think, that predict Cosmos going into Grands.
Of course.
So what
I know what I'm talking about.
Like I think I misspelled. I might have misspelled the word in the word in English actually. But like during the Media Day, we predict who will be the winner of the tournament. Do you recall that? And you were one of the casters, if I recall correctly, that predict Cosmos was the one about to win the tournament, and he was in grand finals in the end.
Yep. I mean, he was right there, right? Like, obviously, like, T just, took it to another level when he went into grand finals. Like, the man said, I'm not going to lose again. And he backed that up with a 6-0. So, kind of hard to beat somebody that determined and motivated. But I knew Cosmos, especially how he's been playing as of late, I knew he was fully capable of getting to grand finals. And, he definitely, he's one of the people who did not get upsetted, right? Like, he, lived up to the hype I was kind of giving him, and I'm glad to see that.
What about you, Breezy? So you went there. For you, that wasn't your first time in Europe also? Like you've been to multiple different events, Sweden, Netherlands, Portugal notably. And now that was your first time in France, but also so your first time in Paris and working on those kind of shows, if I'm not mistaken. Because like you've been working on the tons of different invitational. What about this one? What about the experience of l'Odyssée?
Well, I mean, as I said, yeah, l'Odyssée was it was different. It was like we don't really ever get to go to invitationals where people can actually come and watch too. So, because at Summit, like the only way you get in is if you pay VIP. And outside of that, like I don't really feel like I can't really think of any other invitationals we went to except for like the Thunder one, and that one was kind of messy. So. Yeah, this one it was great to see for people to be able to experience like high level Smash like that while also being able to be at the venue. So yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, it definitely was like probably the best event I've ever been to. from a like event, from like an event standpoint, just as far as like what happens or what the event looked like or what went on, and everything that like transpired into the event. So oh, it was a good time, and like I'd do it again, obviously, but yeah, just it was a great time.
All right. On multiple points, sorry. For you, that was on top notch. Was it like something special, one point specific that you think you will keep in your memories for a long time or something like that?
Definitely the introductions for all the casters. That was lit. That I don't think we've ever got anything like that in America. Not that I can remember, at least.
Yeah, that was incredible.
And it was just, that was like it was a nice little start to the event. And then on top of that, like just even the first day, like I was talking about this on my own stream, but I was talking about how like, the first day, even when no one was there, like the production and like staff and stuff were watching, and they were still getting hype. It was like you could hear them from where we were sitting up at the top too. So I was like, man, if this is what it's like with like 10, 12 people, imagine what it's gonna be like tomorrow. And yeah, it definitely showed up. So
that's cool. And so you, TPK, so to for those who don't specially knows also, so the guys behind Uncover, so the guys behind the l'Odyssey also made tournament like the first Red Bull Comité and stuff like that. So TPK, you've been to those kind of events also. So how was your experience there at l'Odyssey?
Well, fantastic. I mean, I think I've never actually experienced such an event because of everything, the production value, the crowd, basically everything was close to perfect, which is unbelievable because, as you just said, like this is the team behind the Red Bull Comité or the finals, like the Dragon Ball Fighters finals of 2020, the World Championships. And even though I went there, I was actually there commentating during the final event of the Dragon Ball Fighters World Tour 2020. I think that was a hint. They warned us that they could actually do something bigger and greater, and this is l'Odyssée, basically. So yeah, that was a fantastic event, and I, just had a blast, and it made me think why I do this job, why I love esport, and why I think that fighting games can be something so great, like the old man says, right? So yeah, pretty much it. I loved every single second of the event, and when I say that I was deeply depressed when the event was over, like on Monday, I was deeply depressed. I mean it, because I was like, wow, I wish I could have more of these events in Europe. And hopefully we'll get one that's called Ultimate Fighting Arena 2022. And yeah, cannot wait for it to happen.
So also, I got a question about the experience of the tournament. So there is all of that play on stage that happened with all of the big portrait around, all of the firing stuff and smoke and the hell corridor, like where the players that were eliminated had to go, like the one you called the corridor to the French dimension, I think, on the US cast. With all of that, all of those tiny structure on stage and stuff, what do you think about all of that, basically? How do you think about all of those scenography, if that makes sense? Details. All of those, like
theatrics.
Theatrics, thank you. Like all of the theatrics. What do you think about all of that? Did that move you in a certain way, or for you it was just like a good plus, but that's it? Or Breezy, you can start.
Okay. I think that
Oh, I
Like,
was
that's-
talking. I was muted. My bad. Sorry.
Ah, okay,
That's
all right.
the thing
Go for
that.
it.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say. Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry,
I was
Bruce.
gonna say that no, it was awesome to me because it wasn't just a simple matter of like, okay, well, here we have an event and we're just going to add this. Like, no, it was actually built around it, right? Which I thought was awesome because it gave the viewers an experience from home as well as those who are actually in the crowd live. Like that's the difference maker right there, right? Is when you can have an experience that resonates with people who are watching and who are in the building. And you only get that by making that the central focus. Like, if anything, it felt like the production and the spectacle, the pageantry was the main event, and then the gameplay itself just kind of complemented that, which I thought was a good testament to how hard the team worked to put that together. So I was blown away by it, and again, I've never been a part of anything like that to that scale.
So
Yeah.
Breezy, so sorry for interrupting you. Go for it.
I mean, I think that like, yeah. So the asterisks. I mean, it was a really good, like, fun bit that like I feel like worked for the entirety of the tournament. I don't know if you could like do that like at a regular tournament, like, cause I mean that would require a lot of, a lot of the same thing. But I think within an invitational, like it was funny. I think some of the players enjoyed it. Like when I think it was Gacked when he got eliminated and he like crawled backwards, like he was getting like pulled into it.
I was exactly showing that clip.
Yeah.
It's a
So
good call.
yeah, that was So I think the players, they enjoyed it. And yeah, just I don't know, it was funny. Like it was it worked well within that setting. So and it was the first time I ever seen anything like it. So that's another plus.
Yep.
TPK, what about you? Do you think it was maybe a bit too much with all the fire, smoke, stuff like that, or was it still something that moved you in a way?
No, because I think that most of our tournaments actually lack, like, I wouldn't say a specific atmosphere, but a theme, right? You have to have a theme for your events, and for the Odyssey, it was like a mythological theme, something really like, you know that when you're watching the Odyssey, greatness awaits for basically every players, right? Every player. So this is what I felt like when I was actually commentating, but also watching the matches when I was just on having a break. This specific theme made the Odyssey like unforgettable for me, because it was a mix of everything. You talked about like the path to hell, but also the light show and everything. This is how I imagine a premium event when it comes to fighting games, and especially when it comes to invitational formats, because this is what you want to have. This is exactly what you want to show to people, because at the end of the day, people who watch the Odyssey are people who maybe don't give a shit about fighting games or Smash Brothers. Maybe they've played it once, but like that's it. And there, with the Odyssey, you gave them a show to actually watch, enjoy, and maybe understand. But even if they don't understand what's going on the screen, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the weekend, they will be like, "Whoa, I had a blast," because everything was so perfect. And I feel like the players were actually fighting for something. And the Odyssey nailed it for me. They nailed it. And this is why this event was so hype. And this is why basically Twitter was actually talking about this event. And I'm not only talking about France, I'm also talking about the American community who was talking about this event. Like Hungrybox asked, what the fuck was this event? Just because the production value was like over the top, and the theme was so well, it was nailed. So yeah, for me it was perfect, and this is what you need when it comes to invitationals or premium events, to say the least.
Actually, I don't know if you knew that, both of you, Breezy and EE, but like for the French stream, and also you actually that are watching the show right now, but like on the French stream, was a stream on the channel of someone that do not do only Smash. He's not like he's not a smasher basically. but he likes Smash. Obviously, he love it. But he's a big French streamer, so he gathered a ton of people that actually don't play Smash, don't know Smash. So my question is for you, what do you think about that? Like having someone, a figure that represent the event that is not a Smash specialist. Is it something that should be done more often? Like for instance, I don't know, at a SmashCon or anything, like having like a stream dedicated to that specific streamer to let people that are not into the Smash community to enjoy the show? Or should we rather just keep up the good old VGBC, PTS, blah, blah, blah?
I think that it's really important for stuff like that to happen more, because if somebody is a large streamer or content creator and they're already a fan of Smash, why not give them an opportunity to introduce that community to their audience, right? That kind of cross-pollination does nothing but help. It doesn't take anything away because you still kind of average the views together, and then eventually they'll kind of trickle over to the mainstream as well, right? So they can kind of enjoy it from the competitive side of things, and maybe they'll enjoy the commentary, not just watching it on their home streamers thing. So I think when you kind of factor in the way that is designed and how effective that can be, yeah, we need more of that. And I'm glad that they add that at Odyssey, because I found a lot of people, I kind of got like random followers from people who I guess were watching from that stream, who were like French people. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I guess it like kind of trickled down. So I think what the goal was absolutely achieved. And I'd like to see that more outside of obviously just like Europe, but everywhere. You know what I mean? And to piggyback off that, and I do apologize, I have to go right now. I'll try and come back before the show's over, but they're just calling me. But I really appreciate you having me on, and I will try and come back before the show is over. I super apologize for that. Does that work?
No worries. Thank you for coming by, and let me know. Just DM me if you're up again.
Yes. Okay, buddy. Right, thank you, guys.
Catch you later. All right, Breezy. Your thought? Do you have any thought about that?
About like big streamers streaming tournaments, like being the actual official streamer. I definitely think it's a good idea. I think it'd be like, I've seen it kind of done here. I think Void was one of the streams for like some multiverses event, and like that makes sense because he was a top player and a lot of people watch him and stuff, so they expect to see some multiverses. But I think bringing someone else from another, I guess, like a non-smasher to do it that's like I feel like that in itself, it's going to introduce the scene or the people to more people to the scene. Because like if you do it with like HBox or something like that, like everybody knows HBox, you know what I mean? So it's like most of those guys already know what Smash is, and it's not going to be much different. It may be his specific fan base, but it's not going to be much different than like if VG streamed it or something like that. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I saw the person that streamed the main stream, because I followed the main stream, like I saw that he was streaming today and he was doing something totally different. So yeah, pretty cool to see that being done for Odyssey.
And actually, TPK, not TK this time. It's like this weekend we're gonna have Ludwig doing his own invitational. We're gonna have to go deeper into that just at the end of the show. But actually, he's also one of the one of the biggest streamer around in the NA. So obviously he started as a melee commentator, but still is doing that. Do you think that those kind of stuff is going into the way you described it earlier?
You mean involving influencers and big content creators?
Yeah.
I do believe that's a really neat solution. It's not the solution, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to have like multiple channels and people of the community just streaming and also, covering special events. But from time to time, if you have such like a content creator, such an influencer, if you have to call it that way, that can actually put the light on this community and on what this community does every day, it's so great because it brings exposure, and that's what you want to have, exposure. Because people like us will watch the tournament no matter what. It it can be streamed on Ludwig's channel or some random dude and in his garage and just streaming the event. We'll watch it because we know what we expect from such an event, like high quality matches, top level, etc., etc. But like your average viewer on Twitch, he doesn't even know that event exists, right? So this is where Ludwig and content creators, big content creators like Ludwig, play a really important role for me. So it actually helps for exposure, but this is not like the top solution to make the scene actually, to make the community actually watch every single tournament. You have to have dedicated channels for it at the end of the day. But yeah, exposure, it is how I feel it should be.
Yeah, it's definitely not like a miracle way to suddenly
Yes.
throw any kind of games into a tier 1 esport game. It's just
No.
like helping it a lot into its growth, basically. Okay, the other thing obviously that help a lot to have in a tournament is players. So why not jump onto the second part, which is competition. So just for the ones that came up with us just recently onto the show, onto the ROUNDUP EX, we just talked about the experience of Odyssey, and now we're gonna jump onto the tease victory and all the format of competition that was there basically. So we had 6 Japanese players, 4 French, 3 other European players, and if I'm not mistaken, 3 American player, North American player, United States to be very precise. So Breezy, what was your thought when you saw all of the 16 players? Do you think like we made some? Do you think it was a great 16 player?
I think that the spread was a little skewed toward Japan with 6 of them, obviously. And I understand that we would have had 4 American players if Mars was able to make it, which I think that would have helped out a little bit. But that, Mars wasn't replaced with like another Japanese player. He was replaced with a European player, which is totally fine. But I just, it seemed like there was a lot of like Japanese players there, which I have no issue with. I mean, they're great competitors. I think just it would have been a better skew of like, of competition with if it was one less or and one more something or the other. But when we got to the actual competition, I think that I enjoyed the way that it played out, because I think from when you looked at the list of people there, especially on the Japanese player side, you were definitely expecting Ken to be higher than everybody else, but T and stuff like that. But nah, Ken, he fell out. Passeriman and Asimo did very well. Gact, I mean, I think he did about what he would normally do. So it was outside of like just feeling like we might have been able to change the skew of people. The people that were picked were phenomenal picks, and it was nice to see like some of the underdogs, such as like Mutace. I know people like probably saw him and were like, oh, like I mean he's good, but like how good? And then he ends up getting first in his pool. So like, yeah, that's I genuinely think that like altogether like the player list was like a 9 out of 10.
TPK, a thought about that?
Oh yeah, but basically I don't think that there was too many Japanese players, because that was the right occasion for us to actually see what Passerman, for example, what capable of in an international tournament. So basically something he's never done before, or even like Asimo, who is not that known like abroad. He travels a bit, but not that much, and not on Gact's level or Ken's level. So that was the right occasion to see him play abroad. Well, abroad in France, right? And for us, it's not abroad, but still in France. There was actually a right mix of European and American players. But overall, yeah, the tournament was so stacked. Like Bloom Forever, Bloom Forever. He was like we knew that he was about to do something great in this tournament. We knew it, but how, like how big was he going to be in this bracket? For example, Gluttony, we thought that he could actually go to maybe grand finals, at least top 3. Unfortunately, he didn't make it out of polls, which is a shame, really. But you know, it happens. Sometimes you have to actually fail to get back on your feet and just, you know, go back to being one of the best in the world. Well, actually, top 5 in the world. And you had like surprises. Murace, Cosmos. Even though Cosmos is, you know, he's a really, really great player. But I feel like he's a bit inconsistent, like a lot. He's really inconsistent. So I wasn't so sure about his performance at the Odyssey. I actually predicted that he was going to make it out of pool, like on first place. Like he was actually going to make it out of pools in winner's side. Yo, I was right. So, you know, I'm kind of proud about this one because, you know, he's inconsistent. And yeah, overall, the tournament was so stacked. That was a treat. That was a treat, and I'm really pleased with the players that got invited. Really, and I really hope that we actually see more of the Japanese players, especially the ones who don't travel that much, because I feel like we're missing something. In terms of like community-wise, we're missing something because we know like Japan is a hell of a region, right? It's so stacked. Basically, you can get killed with a Piranha Plant or Sephiroth or Duck Hunt Duo, right? It's so messed up, but we want to see more of those players, especially in America, in Europe. So yeah, please, more of them.
So just like to be clear, so for you, TPK, you'd rather having like an invitational, even if they are like all from they're all from one region, but you'd rather having like a lot of hidden boss and a lot of different character.
Yes.
And you, Breezy, you'd rather having a diversity of countries, even if that means having the same character.
No, I mean, I feel like you could do both. Like we could have foregone bringing like Ken or Gact, because these guys travel everywhere, and yeah, got the people who like don't get to go that many places. So Pasirimin, you know, Asimo's only been over to the States once, and that was for the, you know, Invitational. You know, on the other side of things, like I didn't know too much about Bloom Forever before this. I didn't know too much about Orion, you know, before this. Siski I known, Ruffalo I've heard of. I don't think I actually really seen him play. Flo I've known. And so, like, there's a lot of players, and then even on the American side, like, Mutace really hasn't really been to a lot of like invitationals. I don't think Fatality has really been to a lot of invitationals. He might have been. I think he went to like one summit. Cosmos has been to a lot of invitationals because, you know,
Yep.
Yeah. But then like, and then Mars on the other hand too. I don't think he's been to a lot of invitationals since like maybe the first side. It's been a while too. So like, had he made it, it would have made, you know, more diversity. And I think that's great, because we're you know, you could have done the thing where like, oh, we brought MKLeo and Spargo and Meister, but like we're always going to see those guys, right? You know, so I think what makes this event even more special is the fact that you do have those like semi-hidden bosses who like probably don't get enough shine because all of the shine is on the same 5 or 6 people that are, you know, winning and going everywhere. So like in Japan, you know, you know, Akala, Ken, and stuff like that. Like, yeah, these guys are known, but Asimo, unless you're watching the Japan scene like that, like that's the name that probably a decent amount of people did not really know that well. And then Pasiriman too, like as a North American, you know, that being my home region, like clearly I get to see a lot of Fox anyway because of Light, but it was nice to see another Fox, you know, not play the same way that Light plays and still have the same like level, well, have a good level of success.
I mean, so as you said also, because like all the competition was super stacked, so T
Mhm.
won but was still sent into losers by Cosmos, notably. Mutace made an incredible run by going on winner semis, which I do feel was one of the underdog into that competition. And you talked about the fact that Ken and Gluttony, for instance, that was two of the main favorite of the competition, just fell down and get both eliminated onto the during the group phase. So now the question is, what are your thoughts about the format? Like, so it was 4 groups of round robins, okay, on day 1, to let also you at home knows exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
So it's like 4 groups of 4 people all facing each other in best of 3, and then at the end of the polls, the first goes into winners bracket, double elimination for the day after. The second and the third goes into the bracket in losers, and the fourth gets eliminated on the first day. So what are your thoughts about that format, Breezy?
I have no qualms for the format. I know that most smashers are like, we want best of 5, top 1096, and like I just don't know. Like this game is very long. Like it's a very long game, regardless of how fast you can try to play it. Like every 3 out of 5 set will be at least 15 minutes normally, and like that's just, I mean, that eats a lot of time. I think you guys definitely could have done 3 out of 5 because of how quickly things were done. Like there's really no downtime between matches, which big shouts to that, because coming from Summit, it's just nothing but downtime. But yeah, it was like I also like 2 out of 3s because it's like, for lack of a better term, you can't fuck around. Like you need to play. Like there's no oh, let me try my Sora one game, or let me try my secondary one game, because that one game could definitely cost you the entire set. Well, so play your best, and if you really have confidence in your secondary, then yeah, play your secondary. But just, I'm okay with the first day being 2 out of 3s. I think the more important thing was that like the finals bracket wasn't 2 out of 3, and like that was obviously the correct play. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with 2 out of 3s. Just in general and stuff like this, because yeah, I mean, what's the difference? I feel like genuinely, like the difference of getting 2-0 and 3-0 is like whatever. Like you just wasted my time for another game. So basically, like
makes sense. And what about all the fact that 1 gets eliminated, 1 in winners and 2 in losers? Do you think it is harsh, or in like on the opposite, it just built a lot of hype and a lot of pressure on the players?
I think that was the correct play. I think, like, yeah, you definitely could have ran the whole 16-man bracket, 2 winners, 2 losers, but time constraints, as Damascus said, and then on top of that, like, yeah, the pressure. Like you need to win. Like you should be winning. Don't depend on somebody else to like lose for you to get in. Like just win your matches, basically, is where I think that like that's what the 2 out of 3 pressure like put on. So yeah, again, no qualms with the format.
TPK, what are your thoughts? Because like we know for a fact, like for instance, like some matches were played but did not really impact at all the tournament. I can think about the fact that Orion won against T. He won 2-0, but that didn't impact at all the rest of the tournament. T went on to winners, and Orion got eliminated despite the fact that he went 2-0 against him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree with Breezy, basically. Like, best of 3 is not the problem. I don't think it is. Like, time constraints matters, like, really a lot, especially in this kind of place. Like, you're basically in Paris. And it's actually a lot of money. Like, 1 hour in this building costs a lot of money. So I cannot actually imagine what it's like to be like 4 hours late. Really cannot imagine. So you have to keep it like short, right? The best of 3 is the way to go. But there's like something bothers me, because Orion he beat T basically. T won the tournament. but there was no direct effect on the fact that Orion beat T. Not at all. Like, it is what it is, right? Especially in this kind of format, you have to win everything, and this is the simple rule: win everything. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know how they should have made it differently. I'm actually not so sure, but it's actually a shame because you had major wins, like major wins, major upsets, and at the end of the day, it's just one player making it out of pools, like win a side, and two and three and two players making it out of pools, like lose a side. It's a bit weak as a reward to actually beat someone like T. It's really weak, and on top of that, Orion didn't make it, so he basically drowned in pool on the first day. So yeah, we were a bit like overwhelmed by this result and a bit sad. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have to win every single game. Every single map matters in this format, and this is the cruelty of it all, right? You have to win everything. So yeah, I don't think it would have changed like much in the final bracket. I don't think so. But yeah, at least having one more French in the bracket, like Orin, one more French, like two French players would have been sick. But I don't think it would have changed anything. Yeah, I'm totally biased on that topic, but yeah, I don't think it would have changed anything. It's just like, yeah, he beat T, but for what, basically, for what? And yeah, for nothing.
But one thing for sure though is, as you said, like he definitely had like maybe add more stacked to each game, because as you said, like every game, each game count, and was super important to secure basically. So I just see that we got a message from EE, and EE is back. Hello, EE, do you hear us?
Hey, I do. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we are back. So, what are your thoughts about the format, EE?
So are you like, you talking about day 1 and day 2?
Yeah, like basically like all the best of 3, one eliminated, 2 losers, stuff like that. Like real quick, because I think we talked a lot about it, but to have your thoughts.
Just real quick. So I'm from the old school, right? So we used to contest everything under 2 out of 3 anyway, right? So I'm used to that. So I thought it was actually kind of cool to bring that back, because I said on the broadcast, I was like, okay, people who have like secondaries, like you really kind of have to commit right out the gate because you don't have that extra additional game to work with. And I thought it put more pressure on people. And I thought that's a good thing, because when the pressure mounts, it's like, okay, well, who's going to show up? And to my surprise, somebody like Gluto didn't make it out, right? I was actually really surprised about that, but it happened. But then you saw some superstar performances like from people like Mutace. He went on a very good run. Obviously, some people expected T. Somebody like Ken didn't make it out. Like this kind of stuff is crazy. And I feel like you really earned that best of 5 privilege when you got to day number 2 and in front of the crowd and getting to compete in that environment. So I was personally a fan. I also like the layout of the stage rule set as well, like the 9 stages and how you strike from there, and how it was like, rock, paper, scissors, winner ends up deciding like the last 2, and then you pick from one, like, something like that. What I'm trying to say. But I thought it was cool, man. I thought it was really cool. And that's a format I wouldn't mind seeing again. I thought it was perfect for an invitational style.
Let's go. Okay. So to conclude the show, so this weekend, there will be the Ludwig Smash Invitational, actually. So we're going from one invitational to another, and this time, so the rules are completely different. As we mentioned a bit earlier, there was a lot of time constraint, like a lot of time issue. Basically, everything needed to stick in 2 days. We know like this time this will be in 3 days, with 1 day for last chance qualifier, if I'm not mistaken, or is it on Saturday maybe?
Friday.
And
I think
then
It's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. Oh yeah, it started. Yeah, doors open on Thursday, and then it's Friday last chance qualifier, and Saturday, Sunday the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the thing is, so he's doing an invitational like for both Ultimate and Melee, 32 players in each side, with like nearly all of the best players in the world. And this time, the pools are done in a Swiss format. It has been such a long time. What are your expectations towards that invitational, EE?
I mean, my expectations are we're going to see the highest level of Smash Ultimate ever played because the amount of people who have been assembled for this is insane. I don't think we've ever had this much talent in one room. So I think that alone is going to be sensational. Obviously, Melee, we're used to just, Melee talent all coming together too, but that's going to be another good thing to keep an eye on. For me, though, I just think we're going to see, the best matches produced. I think the format is forgiving in some ways as far as like being Swiss, so like you have opportunities to really make up for like a poor performance early, and it's just going to be sick. I mean, I'm expecting great production as well. I don't think Ludwig ever does anything half-ass, so it's going to be great to be a part of that for sure. And yeah, I'm excited.
Is it like forgiving though? Because don't you have to win 3 games to get out? Like
exactly. So we got. So
you do? Oh shit! Never mind.
So look at that. Look at that. So it's an example from Rocket League, actually. Okay, the Rocket League National Series, if I recall correctly, or Championship Series. Sorry. So it's basically that kind of Swiss format. It's like everyone is playing. For those who don't know what a Swiss format is, basically is everyone is starting at the same spot. Basically, everyone got 0 game. As soon as you play 1 game, 1/2 will win and 1/2 will lose. All of the winners will play together, all of the losers will play together, and so on as going forward into the Swiss round. Basically, to be qualified, you need 3 victory, so you can like lose the 2 first games, sorry, and then make the comeback and winning 3 in a row, or you can just straight up get the 3 wins and get qualified, basically. So it looks like that and how it's supposed to work. So are you excited about that format, Breezy?
Yeah, because I mean, again, like I saw Damascus saying in the chat, but just win, bro. Like you need to like stop depending on other people to be the reason why you get in. Like you need to just win yourself. Like, and if you're as a competition, or as competition goes, obviously you want to win as much as you can. And so yeah, I think whoever does decide to or whoever does end up getting out like at the beginning just 3-0, not only will they probably feel like great momentum, because as the like Swiss goes on, basically everybody you play, it gets harder and harder. Even when you lose, like if you're on the loser side of things, the next person you play after you beat whoever in losers is going to be harder than the person that you just played before, because they also, it's just like a regular bracket, except for there's way more. It's not like just double elimination. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think if I was in a Swiss, thing and I got first like seed because I won all 3 games, I would feel so like confident and like just, ready to take on the rest of the tournament. Whilst, if I barely made it in, I would be thinking about like how what I need to do to change and stuff. So I think it puts a unique level of pressure on each match, because you always want to win, and then if you don't win, you're like, well, like I got to make sure that I win these next few, because I want to make sure I get out before everybody else. So yes, I like the format a lot. Like
to be completely honest with you guys, like I hate Swiss format, okay, but I hate it in one way. Like I remember back in the days, we tried round robin pools, we tried Swiss format pools before everything gets normalized to do double bracket elimination since the beginning of the tournament, basically. But I feel like to seed players like as a round, like as the pool format, basically at the beginning of the tournament, I feel like it is awful. But I feel like the sweet spot they get with the objective of getting 3 wins, it's just perfect. Because it's like you can get your 3 wins, you're out. Usually in the Swiss rounds, you're still in until there is rounds to play, basically, and you can get a super good start and just like get destroyed in the end and just like lose your tournament, basically, because of that. What do you think, TPK, about that?
Well, just win. Just win. I don't mind Swiss rounds. Like they're used especially in TCGs. For example, Magic or Runeterra, they use this format a lot, and that's a great format actually. It takes a lot of time, so this is the main issue with the format. You have to have like 1 to 2 days to to run it like properly, which is maybe the main issue about the thing. Also, you can actually face someone, like you can actually play someone 2 times, multiple times, and you can win one time and lose the other time, and you're like, God damn, what just happened? I won my first match and now I have to lose, and it's so depressing. But yeah, it's a great format overall. I really like it, and we don't use this format that often, which is a shame, I believe. But again, when you're on a two-day event, it's so hard to use. So yeah, I'm really curious, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen at the Ludwig's Invitational, mainly because of the format. And yeah, Swiss rounds means basically more matches. So this is what we want to tune to watch the tournament for. More matches, more top level matches. So yeah, basically pretty hyped.
Do you got any, to conclude that show, do you got like any prediction on who's gonna win that invitational, EE?
For Melee, I'm going to go Mango just because I'm a Mango stan.
Let's go.
I'm a Mango stan, baby, all day. And then for Ultimate, you know what? I'm gonna say Light, man. I think Light is gonna do it. I think MKLeo should probably be favored still, but I think Light. I think this will be a performance of a lifetime for him. That's my final predictions.
Breezy?
I'm in the same boat as Mango Nash. But I don't even know if we can really say. I think the era of like MKLeo was unstoppable is over, because just consistently he has been kind of placing worse, and even though his worst placement is like just like 9th or whatever, right? It's still like we used to see first, maybe a second, and then like several other firsts again. And now, as of late, it's been first, like 4th, a 3rd in there, and now a 9th. Like it's just, last, what are you doing? No, I'm kidding. And it's just it. But straight up though, I don't know if I could actually say Leo's like the super dominant force like it was anymore. So before this, I would say, as a betting man, I'm always betting on Leo, but now I can't really bet on him as much as I would like to. I think it really depends on what he's bringing to the table next time too, because the Power Mythra's got to go, but hopefully he brings Byleth and Joker out. And if the Joker's out, then I'm a bet on Leo, but if it's back to Pyro Mythra, then I'm betting on Light as well.
TPK, have you watched the list of the players, and you got also some so who do you think is gonna win?
For Melee, I'll say Leffen. Like, we underestimate what Leffen can do in this invitational. I do believe that he's going to like do a great job, to say the least. Leffen, he's so talented, and basically he can get back to Melee and just win any given tournament, and he can basically play anyone and still win, which is something so great about this player. He's so consistent. Even though he's been spending time a lot in Guilty Gear Strive, I feel like he can actually win this tournament, and I mean it. I mean it. For Ultimate, I'd say that even though Light is doing great against like Steve, for example, well, obviously a Cola plays Steve, so Light has been doing great against Steve's, most of the Steve players. He can do actually great like against Cola, MKLeo, but I feel like Riddles can actually win against Light again. And when I say again, I'm mainly talking about the big house. So I don't know if Riddles does a run of a lifetime, he can win the invitational. And if Riddle is actually sent to losers, then Light wins, I believe. So you know what? I'll just say that Light actually wins the tournament, but I believe that Riddles is here to bring chaos to the table.
I think that's a good bet too, because like it does kind of seem like right now Light is definitely kind of struggling against Kazuya.
Yeah.
Well, I think the entire world apparently is struggling against Kazuya, but yeah, unless he can figure that out, yeah, it might. I think Riddles is a safe bet as well.
All right. Well, that's conclude the show. Where can we watch it? That's gonna be on the YouTube channel of Ludwig. I think so, right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he has two. He has to run two, but for at least the first day, or like Friday and Saturday, and then like the last part will probably just be on his main. So I don't know what his second channel is yet, but I know that it definitely will be on his YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, that's
altogether.
YouTube. Oh yes, I forgot about that.
I mean, guys, I suppose both you and E gonna communicate around it anyway. So for all of you guys that just watch the shows, so follow TKbreezy and EE. You can see their handle just under, like, you can read it basically to just keep track of what's gonna happen at the Ludwig Championship International TPK. What are you gonna do this weekend? You got an event, something?
Yeah, I'm commentating Splatoon 3 for Nintendo France. I cannot wait for this. Yeah, I'm so excited for it to happen. We have like a national championship for Splatoon 3, and you know how this is the game of the year, and I cannot wait to actually commentate this because we have so many talented players, and this game's so great. It's like the perfect esport game, I believe. 4v4, like basically anyone can watch the screen and kind of understand what's going on, right? So it's so fun to actually watch and commentate. Yeah, so yeah, play Splatoon 3, watch the esport, and yeah, have fun.
And good luck, man. I like from a fellow Splatoon enjoyer to another fellow Splatoon enjoyer, man. I hope you have a good time.
Let's go. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, all of you three, to came by and discuss about l'Odyssey and the Ludwig Invitational. All of you that just watched the show, that was so the Roundup EX. So we all know that was the first time that Reversal did some Smash event at l'Odyssey, but keep track for future news. We might take all of your Thursday nights for some Smash events. Take care, guys, and I mean, thank you all for coming.